This is In My Lounge Room, and I'm your host, Sky.
And I'm your other host, Damien. And this week we're back again to continue our conversation about closure and moving on.
So, are we going to talk about weeks or anything, or like
weeks? What do you mean?
Like, how's your week been, or do we just continue?
No, we don't, because that didn't happen. We've already let them know that we've just continued, and I'm leaving this bit in. We've already let people know last week. If this is the first episode you're listening to, we've changed the format of our show. So we've already spoken about our week in last week's episode, and we're not going to pretend that we just walked in the room to see each other, because we've already been sitting here for half an hour talking.
Okay. Welcome to Sky's Brain. Woo!
I will, however, put the intro music in there and stuff, so it will sound normal, but yeah. Cool. But anyway... Okay. When we left off, I was talking about breaking up with someone, or that you're them ending the relationship because of their attachment style, and because we're talking about moving on from relationships. So for me, moving on from that relationship, whilst difficult, because I'm still in a place where I was like, at the time it happened, I'm still in that place where I'm like, but I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
But because of my rational brain, I'm able to talk to my heart and go, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
I also had an adult conversation with her to help her understand, because I'm like, because she's, very much, oh, you're an amazing man and you're a great partner and blah, blah, blah. However, I don't know why I'm not in love with you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why, because her attachment style, she's not capable of it. And she understands that. So I'm like, well, go and work on yourself, because the next man you meet deserves to have better.
Definitely.
And she's like, oh, I'm not going to meet anyone. I'm like, you will.
Yeah.
But, and I'm like, she goes, I'm not going to meet anyone like you ever again. And I'm like, well, you will.
That's true.
Well, of course not. But I'm like, no, but there are other good men out there.
Are there?
I've heard.
Okay.
I know some. But they've got partners.
I know some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, they're gay. Actually, gay men are just men too. A lot
gay
of them
men
are just
awesome.
Assholes too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they're not all nice.
They're still men.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I get it, but you still need to fix what's going on, because, yes, there may be another man like me who is secure, who you can fall in love with, but if you don't figure out what's going on, you're going to repeat the pattern. That's right.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I know, and you'll just keep doing it because that's what you've always done. So for me, that conversation was the closure. Air quotes.
Yeah.
So there were no unanswered questions there, because we discussed it. So flipping back to you.
Yeah.
Conversations.
Okay. So, I mean, I feel like I gave my ex-husband closure when I said, I don't love you anymore. Oh, no, there was more than that. We went to counselling where we discussed issues with our relationship and his...
Can I jump in?
Emotional abuse. Yeah.
Did he amicably agree to that, or was he there under duress? Like, did you seriously believe that it was going to help the relationship?
I suppose I hoped.
Yeah.
So we went to one counsellor and he basically said that he was on my side and we weren't going back. Okay. And then we tried someone else who'd been recommended.
Yeah.
And we went one time and he told why we were late, why I'd been upset, and he said, well, it was because of this, and can't you see how ridiculous that is? And she goes, no, because you're treating Sky like a child and she's an adult.
Yeah.
And that was it. So 2 counsellors, 2 fails.
Yeah. See, I've had a conversation with a friend of mine recently whose partner is he's a decent guy to me.
Yeah.
And probably to other men.
Yeah.
But to her, not great.
So my ex-husband was nice to everyone.
Yeah.
To everyone. He looks like a legend.
That's what they do.
Yeah, but to me he wasn't.
No, and so she's like, I said, have you considered couples counselling?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I think she said she's discussed it with him, but he's like, why would I do that? They're just going to blame me. And it's like, is that because you're aware that it's your fault and you don't want to be proven like that to be true? Like,
I think that was the problem with counselling. And then my final counselling session was with one of my best friends who I went because I was meant to go with him, and I was hysterically crying because he'd left because he was like, I'm not going. And that was the moment when I sat with her, just her holding my hand, and basically the counsellor and I discussed the fact that was it. I was leaving him.
Because like you mentioned before, like you got closure by telling him that you didn't love him anymore.
Yeah.
However, he's the father of your children, so he's still in your life. So
very much.
Do you actually have, like, you've got closure from the relationship, but from the associated long-term
trauma?
Impact, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
You will be reminded constantly of that relationship. You can put that to two perspectives. One, bring you down and go, that was shit, and he's still in my fucking life, which happens. But the other one is, thank fuck, he's not my partner anymore.
So I think I do both. So sometimes, and I've messaged you this, I'll be like, thank fuck. And then other times when he's quite bad and he's emotionally upsetting me to do with the children, it drags me down.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's ever going to change until the kids are adults.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
There's things going on in your life that we shouldn't talk about, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So going back a couple of relationships ago for me, so there was a breakup, and I've briefly spoken about this before, where that person didn't let me into their life.
Yeah.
Like they didn't tell their friends I existed, didn't tell their family, like their mum and dad, brother, whatever. No one knew I even existed. And then I caught them using Bumble.
That's
I
right.
don't know if I've actually given this information on the show.
This is a crazy story.
Yeah. I caught them using Bumble. The whole
And did they change their mind sometimes about whether you were together or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like super avoidant person, and I was still figuring out attachment styles at that time. It was actually during that relationship I was going to therapy, and the therapist helped me, like he helped me break up with her basically. But an ex from prior to that contacted me while I was in that relationship and was like, so I've learned about this thing called attachment styles, and I'd like to apologize for you for being an avoidant person and causing the breakdown of our relationships, but I think you might have an anxious attachment, and anxious and avoidance can never work together. And I've made... See, going back to last relationship, going into it, knowing about attachment styles, and like I just mentioned in last week's episode, I love saying that even though we recorded it 15 minutes ago. So in last week's episode, I mentioned how I had identified it, but I kind of went, that's cool, I can deal with it because I'm secure. I just need to not fall into those anxious attachment styles. I think moving forwards, I'm just going to have to make a real... put my foot down with I can't date avoidant people. I may be able to date anxious people because I'll be able to give them the reassurance they need.
Yeah,
like,
that you understand.
And also if I do date an avoidant person, I'm going to tell them up front, I'm aware of please do this test and find out what your attachment style is. And so you know, anxious. Because you can start moving forwards, because awareness is really helpful for it. With an anxious person, I could put that anxious person's going to go, oh, are you still in my life? Do you still like me? Oh my God, text me back. I'll be able to deal with that. Yeah. But an avoidant person, I think I've proved to myself that I don't deal with it very well. Even being secure, I'm like, here, have space. But moving forwards, if I am with an avoidant person, I'm going to go, here, have space, and this is why I'm giving you space.
6-date guy, he was avoidant.
Avoidant as fuck. Yeah. He also died.
He totally died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but the one before, when I broke up with her, and it was difficult, and I'm going to get to my point back to you in a minute,
Sure.
but it was difficult for me. That breakup was harder than the one after where she ended it because she's avoidant, because I understand all this stuff, and I just went, well, I'm just going to be cool about it because I'm secure, and what am I going to kill myself over it for? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that.
No, you shouldn't.
But apologies.
But you shouldn't be emotional. You're allowed to be emotional, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one before, I almost said her name. I broke up with her, and it was because she was like hanging out with other men. Whether she was cheating or not is beside the point. But it was at that point where I just went, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not part of your life. You're saying we're not exclusive. Whatever. But then after we broke up, I felt like there was something really missing from my life.
Okay.
Even though I was the one who ended it.
Wow.
Have you experienced that? And talk to that if you can.
So, I mean, no, I don't think I have, honestly.
Where you've cut it off?
I'm just trying to think. Like, there's been even when I was in that E&M relationship, I ended it, and I was disappointed and I ended it because it was going to hurt me, and I could tell. Yeah. But at the same time, I was enjoying it while I was in it.
Yeah.
And so, that sucked.
Do you fall into the, oh my God, I'm throwing this away, and this isn't about you, right?
Yeah.
I'm just being general.
Yeah. But I'm quite dramatic.
Because like older millennials and Gen Xers as we are, we're not getting any younger.
No.
And you fall into that headspace of, am I going to get anything again?
Yeah.
Like, is this the end for me?
Well, like I literally messaged my mum earlier going, oh my God, I hate that I'm aging and I'm not going to be pretty forever.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I mean, who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like,
and I do worry time is ticking. Like I do.
Yeah, same.
I can't help it.
But I'm going to go like, we're not unattractive people.
No.
So we'll do all right. But at the same time.
Also, can I say, you're a guy.
Yeah.
It's easier for you.
Real easy. Like, I know.
Shit as a female.
And if I was so inclined, I could, and this is going to sound so egotistical, but if I was so inclined, I could go and get myself a relationship like this.
I could get a...
You could too, right? Anyone could.
Well, I could, but
But you compromise yourself.
Oh, and I'm not compromising. And that's what I say. People are like, oh, why are you single? And I'm like, because I have...
Fuck, I hate that question.
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh, you seem like such a great guy. Why are you single? Yeah. Well, it's not necessarily about that. It's not like I can't attract people.
Yeah.
It's maybe that's my choice.
Yeah, like I don't want to compromise, and I don't want to, no offense, settle.
Yeah.
I'm not settling for anyone.
No. I mean, if people come into my life who are worth pursuing, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. But I'm still kind of like just experience it and let it grow, because I have actively pursued relationships in the past. And have they worked? No. So
yeah, well, I mean, I've like, that's why I said I've actually gone off dating apps because I've just had enough. Yeah. Because I feel like, I know I say this all the time, but it's actually like day 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
that's a long one for you, because you really know what? I'm just going to keep that. But the last episode you said, so I've just gone off the dating apps. That was 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So carry on. 6 days, yeah.
I've stayed off the dating apps because it's just, I'm over it. I'm just over it. But I don't know how I'm going to meet people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have had like 2 dates with someone, so I'm hoping that's
Where'd they
positive.
come from?
They did come from an app.
Oh, well, whatever. Yeah.
But I've gone to the apps other than that.
Yeah, well, you don't, whatever. And if it doesn't work, and you know what, there's no judgment in that, but you've got to kind of like, if you want to give yourself space and then return, do that.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm giving myself space I'm giving Perth Single Families space from me. But, you know, I'll go back there, but I'm not going back there to pick up, because that's not the place for it. Yeah. But it's like, I want to involve myself in that environment because it felt nice.
Yeah. Do you know the best experience of all, like, my dating since I've left my ex-husband was...
Is this going to be explicit?
No, I wasn't going to talk about sex.
No, I know, but, you know, it would be remiss of me
not... Okay, so
not...
there was this time... No.
So there was Dave and Wazza and...
FYI, no.
A stick of butter.
No, it was when I was seeing a guy called Josh. I think I've mentioned him before.
You did?
Yeah. And because...
Did he fix the pipes?
He did.
Yep.
But because I knew there was an end, because he was going back to Denmark where his ex-wife and his children were living, I knew it was like...
It was finite.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was awesome. But I also knew, and he'd said that to me when we were together, I'm going soon and you can't ever come with me because you have 2 little boys and their dad is here. And I'm like, that's fine. Let's just enjoy this while we can.
Yeah.
And like I was super sad when he left, but I knew there was a reason. It wasn't because it had ended badly or anything.
Yeah.
It was just because that was it.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
So the closure was preemptive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I had to cry because he was amazing.
Yeah.
And he'd met the boys and they, like, eventually officially met the boys, not just as the tradies.
It's just some guy who just happens to be here without a work bag. You're just so lucky that at that time, like, if let's say Joshua was 13 and not 9.
Even
when
now.
That happened, he'd be like, where's your tools?
Where's your, like, why do you have that car? Like, there would have been so many questions.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? But I use that shower every day and it works perfectly.
Yeah. Well, why are you wearing like trackies and a t-shirt and you're barefooted?
Yeah. Shouldn't you be wearing like tradie clothes?
Yeah. Also, why'd you just grab Mum's bum?
That's all part of the service, my man. Yeah. I had something else I was going to say before. So Denmark, man. So you it's very hard for the two of us to talk about this, I suppose, because we've managed to create our own closure, which is the point.
Yeah.
Closure doesn't come from what the other person does.
No.
Closure comes from yourself.
I think
that like if there's something undone, and another one is the whole, like in that meme, it said apology. What was the word? God, I'd have to go back and listen to what I said.
Can't remember.
I could look it up on my phone. I'm going to actually look the meme up on my phone because I have saved it.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
What other experiences I've had? So 6 to 8 Man, and then there was obviously the American,
right?
And that was very much like it was bad for me. He was because of the love bombing, and then he just all of that. So I realized I had to get out of that. But you'd been telling me for about a month. Yeah.
But then you stopped telling me about when you were like seeing people, so I didn't talk you out of it. But I'm not going to talk you out of it. I just reflect your own reflect it back to you so you think about it. And so the meme was, and I've copied this from some other group. Well, it just came up in my timeline. Congratulations to everyone who moved on without the genuine apology or closure that you deserved. That's not easy. So genuine apology. The best apology is changed behavior, right? So within the confines of your relationship, that's where changed behavior is appropriate. You can apologize all you want, but if you don't change, nothing's happened. But when you break up with someone, their changed behavior is not relevant to you.
Exactly.
So with the relationship I was talking about before, whether that was last week or this week, I can't remember, earlier in this recording session, her behavior, being her attachment style, will need to change so that she can have successful relationships. Those relationships are not going to be with me.
No.
So it doesn't affect me in any way. So her apologizing to me for breaking up for me, I accept that apology because I don't need to see the changed behavior.
And that was more for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's right. So her changing her behavior is so that she can, and it's just me going, So because I care about you, I want you to have successful relationships in the future. So therefore you need to make these changes in your life so your future partner has a better version of you, and that will be better for you and for him.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, blah, blah, and just crying. And I'm like, no. I actually care about you, so I want it to be good.
Yeah.
Now, however, had we had the conversation earlier, her changed behavior may have benefited me because we were still in the relationship.
That's true. Yeah.
So
But that's a what if.
Yeah, that's right. And like I changed my behavior after separating from Billy's mum, and that pissed her off.
Because
I became
that's
better.
A what if. Yeah.
Yeah, because I became better.
What if you'd done that a year before?
Yeah. What if I'd done that 6 years before?
Yeah.
Well, become self-aware and like cared about myself and what was going on around and who I am now. Like if who I am now was available to her fucking 10 years ago, 15 years ago when we were in the relationship, that would have been beneficial to her. So it's her seeing me change and going, well, fuck, you didn't do that for me,
Whereas for me, I now know the signs of a narcissist. And
they're being displayed to you regularly.
Yeah. And so if I'd known that a year, I probably did know it, but I wasn't aware of how it worked and how they used that.
Yeah.
I would have left, but then I wouldn't have these beautiful kids. So
well, that's right. Well, you may or may not. You may have had them because they're your eggs that turned into children. So if you'd had children with someone else, that could have been them.
Yeah,
it's just they wouldn't have his DNA in them as well. They'd have someone else. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose like just reflecting on that, then, you haven't really witnessed the changed behaviour because I have with Billy's mum.
Yeah.
And she has with me. It made her upset initially, but now 9 years later, I'm like, well done to you. You're a very stable person. Good on you.
Yeah.
And so am I. You haven't got to experience that.
No, and because when we were getting on, he tried to ask if we could get back together. So again,
that was only recently too. Like within the last 3 years, he's done that.
2 years. Yeah. So again, I thought we'd progress to a good point, and he thought it was a chance for reconciliation. So I never got to experience, we've both moved forward.
Yeah.
So
keep talking. Sorry, I'm just
I think
Billy.
Okay. So I think that is something that I'd like. Like I always say to you, I would love to co-parent and have a friendship with like it happened yesterday where Benjamin threw a giant tantrum and I said, well, you're not playing basketball. And then I messaged their dad to say, look, he's trying to call you, but I know it's just because he wants to complain and have you take his side. And he said, oh, well, I'll take him then. And what I really wanted was him to go, I'll chat to him and remind him that when he's with you, that's those rules.
That's what it comes down to is you're in this house doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
Now he can just support that. He doesn't have to be involved or agree, but when it's here, it's your call.
Yeah.
And that's just all it comes down to. And that's fair. But once again, you're dealing with things. So therefore, I'm going to spin it a different way.
Go for it.
Have you even had closure from that?
I don't think so. No, I'd say not.
Yeah.
No. I've made my own closure as such, like because I've had to, because otherwise I would just be in a heap every day.
Okay. Yeah.
But
that's an interesting point that you bring up.
Yeah.
Because closure is your own version of closure. It doesn't have to be a shut door. It's just how you deal with it.
Yeah. So
how you deal with it now is to not become emotionally involved for too long. Because obviously it affects you because of your children.
And I message you regularly because I get so upset.
Yeah.
And these days though, I calm down within sort of 30 seconds, whereas before it would take sometimes days.
Yeah. So whilst you don't have actual closure, because these things continue to affect you, the way that you deal with them, and that's like anything, is that the problems one face is not the measure of the person, it's how you deal with the problems. And that's the more important thing. So you're creating closure as such. And this word's getting very tired at this point in time. I think there might be a better word for it, but you're creating that within your own self.
I think you have to protect yourself and to to be able to act as human, because otherwise, like for all of us, closure, if we're calling it closure, in order to move forward, whether it's a 20-year relationship or a 1 week, let's not go 1 week, let's go 3 dates.
Yeah, whatever.
You have to be able to progress and move forward.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll just be in the corner rocking forever.
You know, I think you've hit the nail on the head right there, whether you knew it or not. But I think your wisdom has shone through. And that's part of what we do here is you say stuff, and I interpret it.
It's how we roll.
And then share it in a damified way.
Yeah.
So what you're saying then, or what we've worked out, is that closure, by the sound of it, is you get a door and you close it.
Yeah.
And everything that's on the other side of that door stays on the other side of that door. However, closure can be a deli blind.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it keeps the flies out.
Yeah. And
it keeps the heat out because for the air conditioning, you know, it doesn't go past there. However, it lets the people walk through.
Yeah.
So your closure may mean a deli blind.
That's true.
So you have to, but on the inside of the deli, you go, I feel safe.
Yep.
My air conditioning's working and the bugs are staying out.
Yeah.
The door is not open like it used to, where the bugs would come in and
you'd be hot and be gross.
Yeah. So you've created a sense of closure, even though the door isn't actually closed. Yeah. Wow. Fuck, we're smart.
Whoa. Mind blown.
That was good.
Yeah.
So
And that is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is. So closure's your version of it. Apology is whatever it means to you. If someone's word is good, then all the changed behavior in the world is irrelevant, because, as I said, changing your behavior may actually trigger someone to feel worse because you didn't do it for them.
Also, I don't think an apology can always help, because an apology can be like a false apology.
Well, how many times have you busted your kids and they apologize because they got in trouble?
Yeah.
Not because they are sorry.
I know. I love it when I say, apologize. Sorry. What for? I don't know.
Yeah. And what are we going to do moving forwards? Because that's why you want to raise your kids to understand that apologizing means changing and not doing it again.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say then about the children, the apology? Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll come back if it's important. But yeah, it's I know what it was.
Tell me.
Apologizing when you don't bloody well need to apologize.
It's a female thing.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. Yeah. And we need to stop.
You, in the last I've known you 3 years now.
Yeah.
Come over that, right?
Yeah.
But in the 2 years that we've done this podcast, it's officially now 2 years, February, right? Even though we've only got 60 odd episodes, because we have had some breaks.
We have.
But you have changed that to an extent, because I pulled you up on it so many freaking times.
My mum does it all the time.
Don't apologize.
Yeah.
What are you actually apologizing for? It's one of those things when someone says something racist or homophobic or transphobic, and then you go, "Why is that funny?" And they I got to tell you a story before we wrap it up. Have I got 2 minutes? Doesn't matter. I don't think we need to go on to another episode. We'll just end it here.
I think so.
But but ladies, gentlemen, don't apologize unless you do something wrong.
Yeah.
And you are apologizing for the impact, that your intention is not important in that point, because it's the impact. So me going, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." Doesn't matter what you meant. The impact on the other person is what is important. So if your feelings are hurt by something I've done, I say, "I'm sorry that the actions that I did or what the words I used have caused you hurt."
Yeah.
And that's an apology. But going, "I'm sorry you're upset," that's not an apology.
Or just assuming that by apologizing, that saves you. That removes all guilt.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah.
And the whole getting back to just apologizing because women are told to be quiet or whatever the hell it is that happens. I'm not a woman, so I can't identify. But when you're a child, you are conditioned to apologize for just existing, basically. So apologizing for interrupting when you're not actually interrupting, all you're doing is just speaking.
Yeah.
Because it's your turn to speak.
But that's what we've been taught to do, to apologize for even having a presence.
And people, getting once back to attachment, anxious people Oh, sorry, not anxious people, but people who have dealt with anxious attachment people, anxiously attached people, apologizing for not responding to your text message.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't have to respond immediately.
Yeah,
but that's because you're conditioned to maybe anxious men, because a lot of men out there who are single, who are our age, have an anxious attachment style. So those men make you feel guilty because they message you, you don't respond in their expected time frame, and then they make you feel bad about it. So therefore you go, I'm very sorry I didn't respond. Now, I have people text me, or I text someone, and then, hours go past, and then they go, oh, really sorry, I was blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Don't apologize. I know you have a life.
Yeah.
And it's been hours. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's not like you left it for a week and then went, oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize for things like that. Anyway.
Want to wrap it up?
We can wrap it up. Once again, our social medias are
Instagram, In My Lounge Room, Facebook, In My Lounge Room Podcast, and email us at skyanddamo@gmail.com.
That was fucking perfect.
Thank you.
I'm only saying that because if you listen to last week's episode,
it's interesting.
Things happened. But yeah, anyway, so this is the end of our new format of recording. It makes life easier for us because we can just get them out. So we'll have 2 episodes. And then we're going to record again next week.
Totally, because I only have one child.
Yeah, so you'll be coming up. So we'll get another couple of episodes. So then if we do have, so we'll have 4 episodes in 2 weeks. And so we do have to have a break. It doesn't matter. We're putting them out. So give us your feedback. What do you think? Are you left with a unsatiated now because you didn't get that hour and a fucking whatever it is of us just dribbling shit,
and
we've had to compress it into a short time, even though technically we've been recording for an hour and 2 minutes.
Yeah,
it's just that it's broken up. So moving forwards, we'll probably keep doing this. It's just going to make life easier for us.
I like it.
Yeah.
But like I'm going to say every week, email us your subjects, your ideas, your questions, your stories, please. We want to hear from you.
And what we didn't mention on last week's episode, although I could edit this part into last week's episode, Sean Connery, I slap women. Have you seen that?
No.
Sean Connery, there's an episode with Barbara Walters where she's talking to him. So in the past, you were saying it's okay to slap a woman. Do you still feel that way? It was like in the 90s or whatever. He goes, well, sometimes if she's talking out of line, she might just need a slap.
Oh, my God. I've never heard that.
Yeah. Look it up. Barbara Walters, Sean Connery. He's a misogynistic pig, right? And he's basically saying, well, sometimes talking to a woman doesn't work, so the only way to get her to listen is to give her a slap.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he said back in the 70s or something, so this is like 90s, and she's gone, hopefully your attitude's changed. You should see the look on her face when he's just like, well, no, if a woman won't listen, the way to get them to listen is to slap them. So everyone out there who loves Sean Connery, he's misogynistic and slaps women. But anyway, what I was actually going to say is please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, whatever.
Wherever you get your podcast.
If you are listening on Apple, you can actually write us a review. If you want to write us a review, we might read it out.
Yes,
so you can be funny. If you want to give us a 1-star review, then we're going to be mean to you.
Yeah.
But because
and you better put a reason for 1 star.
Yeah, because if you're that heavily motivated to give bad reviews, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there. Mm-hmm. You giving us a bad review isn't going to change what we do and the way we do it. So just tell us you like it, because it's about helping us, because we don't make money, but we would like the more listeners. The more reviews we get, the more Apple Music shows us to potential listeners.
And then eventually I'll get my new car.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why we want reviews, not because we're not narcissists who need to know we're doing a good job. We're going to be doing what we're doing anyway, but if you actually give us a review, it helps with the algorithm. More people get to hear us, and then we don't have to ask you to share it and stuff. But please do so.
There's one other thing I want to mention. I know I've got to go, but my TikTok is called Sky Star Dating.
Okay.
And it's some of my stories.
Sky
Star Dating, all one word.
Okay.
And it's some of my dating stories.
Okay.
But then I say in each TikTok, come and listen to In My Lounge Room.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So comment on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow Sky Star dating. Say that 5 times quickly. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Red rum.
Red rum. That's murder. Murder. Okay, that's
we
enough.
Need to stop.
See you next time.
Bye.
She calls me Goliath and I wear the David mask. I guess the stones are coming too fast for her now. You know I'd like to believe this nervousness will pass. All the stones that are thrown are building up a wall. I have become cumbersome to this world. I have become cumbersome to my girl. I'd like to believe we could reconcile the past, resurrect those bridges with an ancient glass. But my old stone face can't seem to bring her down. She remembers bridges burned to the ground. I have become cumbersome to this world. I have become cumbersome to my girl. Too heavy, too light, too black or too white, too wrong or too right, today or tonight, cumbersome. Too rich or too poor, she's wanted me less and I wanted her more. The bitter taste is cumbersome. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 yeah. There is a balance between two worlds, one with heroin a cause. Regardless of the balance, life has become cumbersome. Too heavy, too light, too black or too white, too wrong or too right, today or tonight, cumbersome. Too rich or too poor, she's wanted me less and I wanted her more. The bitter taste is cumbersome. Ah, yeah, no, 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 no. No, no, ah, yeah. No, 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 yeah. Yeah. Your life has become cumbersome.
Thank you for listening to In My Lounge Room. Intro music written and performed by Damien McKay. This week's outro song was performed by Damien McKay, originally performed by Seven Mary 3. It was written by Jason Ross and Jason Pollock.